Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Saturday, November 11th, 7:45 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. Iceland evacuates Grindavik and raises aviation alert level as concerns rise. A volcano may erupt, and this will be one of the largest volcanic eruptions perhaps since the 1700s. The amount of magma in place is record-breaking. Keep calm. It's boom time. Alaska's largest city declares snow emergency after record snowfall piles up on back-to-back days. Such heavy snowfall across Anchorage led to power outages along with school and road closures, according to local reports. Grand solar minimum much? Shut up, Al! Get in your hole! Al Gore is not happy with the snowfall. Rain and a snowy week ahead for the West Coast. Let's take a look.
Look at this swirl we have here. We're looking at the atmospheric moisture, and you can see we've got a cinnamon bun swirl right there. And we're going to see lots of rain coming into parts of the West Coast. And you can see 2 to 3 inches potentially. And this is through next Friday. Along with that, we could see some good mountain snow for you skiers out there as well. So as we look a little bit closer, you can see potentially up to 1.5 feet of snow in those higher elevations, and we definitely need this. I know the drought has really improved in California, but we still definitely need some of that precipitation and water in the reservoirs. So as we start from Monday into Tuesday, we really start that rainfall moving into parts of Northern California, and then as we progress into the middle part of the week, we see it kind of spreading farther down south to Bakersville, Los Angeles, and you can see that mountain snow starting to fall as well. It's going to continue to be a soggy day as we head throughout your Thursday. It's just going to be a little bit on the wet side. So for the southeast and parts of the West Coast, yes, we're going to see those rainy conditions. It finally does taper off a little bit as it shifts off to the east there into parts of Las Vegas and part of the other western parts of the state. But you can see the exceptional drought. This is where we started the year. So this was January 1st. Look how much it has improved. Now, I know it looks really, really good, but we still have low water levels in those reservoirs, and we still need it.
So even though the drought is over in California, they still have no way of sequestering water. In many of these reservoirs, they just release the extra water and let it run into the ocean. So they really need to get their act together, because they went from fear-mongering of an endless drought that would never end to no drought, and they really have to find a way to capture that water to prevent future droughts. Snow and rain across the Northwest and upper Great Lakes. A front moving across the Pacific Northwest will bring coastal rain and light to heavy snow across the northern Cascades and the northern Rockies through Sunday. This front will also bring strong winds to portions of Washington, northern Idaho, and Montana as well. In addition to rain and snow across the Northwest, mixed precipitation is expected across the upper Great Lakes through Sunday evening. Let's take a look. There's that system moving in to the Pacific Northwest now. And if you look down at Texas, you can see that unsettled weather, which will last through Wednesday in the Gulf states. Probably some thunderstorm activity, maybe an isolated tornado. Let's take a quick look at the total snowfall accumulation and move that through day by day. Here is Sunday through Monday, heavy snow in the Cascades as well as Montana. Tuesday and Wednesday, some snow up in the Northeast. Thursday will bring that snow to the high elevations of the Sierras as well as Colorado. Friday into Saturday, heavy snow throughout Canada, maybe the peninsula in Michigan picking up a little bit of the powder. And let's just run this through as these models are muddled. But Texas, the nexus of the schmexus, picking up some of the global warming goodness in this one. Seismic update, no quakes of note. We did have some activity on the West Coast here. By the Cascadia region, 4.1 in Petrolia, also showing that seismic activity up in Iceland. We're going to get to that as Iceland evacuates a town and raises aviation alert as concerns rise a volcano may erupt. This is really unfortunate. Complete road closures to and from the town of Grindavik, which has now been totally evacuated. Thousands of people, an old age home, and more, as the situation is getting dire. Thousands upon thousands of earthquakes over the last 36 hours, all over the map. Most of them concentrated on a dike intrusion, which unfortunately, here, let's take a look at this map, is now moving right through the town of Grindavik. Now, this fissure hasn't erupted for 2,300 years. And unfortunately, the amount of magma being pushed into this area eclipses any other intrusion since the 1700s. This is going to be a very large eruption when it does begin, and hopefully it doesn't destroy the entire town of Grindavik. Our thoughts and prayers go out to those. We're going to have a live stream up and a link down below as people are cautiously awaiting. There's over 4,000 watching now for the inevitable. The probability of volcanic eruption has increased. Explosive eruptions are now possible. This is because the fissure, the dike system, goes all the way out in the ocean here. So if it were to erupt southwest of Grindavik, we could have phreomagmatic explosions, and that would just be the worst case scenario. Scientists at the Met Office say the likelihood of volcanic eruptions in the near future must be considered significant, and they have in fact increased today. The quake area is 15 miles long. The magma is just at a depth of 800 meters below the surface, very shallow, less than a kilometer, which means an eruption is imminent any time. Grindavik was evacuated yesterday. Attempts are being made to secure housing for the people and teaching for the children. There is already considerable damage to the infrastructure in Grindavik as the inflation has cracked roads and caused huge fissures to open up in the ground. Over on our Twitter feed earlier today, this morning, we showed some of the amazing things happening near Grindavik. Take a look at this. This is a park bench in one of those separation fissures. So things are very bad at the moment and can only get worse. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all those evacuated from Grindavik. As the situation develops, we'll keep a close eye on it for you. Stay tuned for updates. Space Weather News Update. We are waiting for a CME to hit Earth any moment now. G2 geomagnetic storm is predicted for the next 2 days. We could have an amazing auroral display over the night. So stay tuned to the real-time solar wind to see that action happen. We've already got a phi angle shift, but there is no obvious evidence of a CME. You would see a jump in all of the telemetry all at once, and that will light up the sky. Currently, the geomagnetic conditions on Earth are very low. We're psychic, basically. KP is 1 or lower. So we're waiting for the jump in the telemetry here, and then, well, we could have geomagnetic storm. Right now, all is quiet as far as the geomagnetic overview. And take a look at the solar cycle. Good news, the numbers are coming way down. This cycle is off to a paltry start, just slightly higher than cycle 24. And if we look at all the data, it's actually going to be still one of the lowest amplitude cycles all the way back to the Dalton minimum, cycle 6. There are no other cycles lower than this except for cycle 12. So cycle 12 back in the centennial minimum, but more indicative, 24 and 25 of the Dalton minimum, as we are predicted to drop down even lower than any of the cycles you're looking at here going back to 1750. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's grand solar minimum time. Now, we just got in contact with Ashton Forbes, who has taken the scene by storm in the UFO worlds. And he has top secret clearances, and he has footage of the MH370 being overtaken by some type of super technology here. You can see the orbs rotating around the plane before it disappears into infinity. And so take a look at what happens here as the plane comes through here. The orbs are now circling the plane, and watch for it. It literally goes into a wormhole and disappears. We're going to be having Ashton on to explain the footage, what he thinks is going on, his letter to Congress, and we'd like to get some input from you. What are your thoughts? Have you seen the footage? Have you been following Ashton? Well, we're going to have an interview with him hopefully on Monday and get that footage up Monday night or Tuesday. So stay tuned for updates on that. And we have an amazing podcast lined up for you over at Magnetic Reversal News in just a few minutes. Leah and I did a deep dive on the Yuga cycle and what the mechanism may be that's forcing climate on Earth and that is changing the amount of information that humans know on a regular interval of about 26,000 years. The binary star system Sirius and our sun will be discussed over at Magnetic Reversal News in just a few minutes. So go check it out. It will literally blow your mind. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. Be safe. We love you. And that is a boom. See you in a few minutes over at Magnetic Reversal News.